This is a quick overview of sewing an ugly doll. This is a pattern I cut out to see what fabric I will use and what size it will be. Notice I'm using the same color. You can also change your idea for colors. I'm going to put my pattern face down on the back of the fabric. This is so that any marker is not seen on my doll. I traced it slowly and carefully, and I'm going to even try and cut just inside the black marker line. I take my time and go very slowly, bringing the cut just barely inside of the black line. I can turn and keep my fabric flat. I can come in from different angles to get into V's or cracks. And then I'm going to cut smaller pieces for the features. I get an arm's length of string. I tie a knot in one end by wrapping around my fingertip, rolling it off to make a twisty donut, and then choking it down to make a big, good knot. So if you have enough time, you should definitely sew on the features. If you have trouble threading your needle or getting that thread through the eye of the needle, fold a very tiny paper in half and use it as a hot dog bun to pull it through your needle eye. So we always want our knots to be hiding on the back, which means we start pushing our needle in from the back and go up through the fabric. To sew on this nose, I came up through the nose and I'm going off right next to the nose, and we'll see what that tiny stitch looks like. Another approach is to come up right next to the nose and sew down into the nose. I did that for the eyes as well, and we can see the back is pretty messy. I'm going to tie it off by keeping the needle on, keeping the string long, always tie it off before the string gets too short, and then tying a knot and cutting it off. I decided also to add a little white stitch for the shine in the eyes. When you're ready for your back piece of your stuffed animal, you're going to trace your original front onto another fabric, making sure that the fabric you want to show is facing the back. Cut it out the same way. Thread another needle, and this time sew from starting inside first, so the knot is hiding. And to do a blanket stitch, you have different options for stitches, but a blanket stitch is nice. You always come up from the back, close to where your last stitch went, but before you pull, before it closes, you're going to go through that hole to kind of cinch it nice and tight and solid so your stuffing doesn't come out. I'll show you again. Come up from the back, sometimes even push on the table, and then go through that knot. Notice that every time I come up from the back, I'm gonna clamp my fingers down on the string, on the needle, so that it doesn't come out of the needle. You'll get faster and faster, but keep your stitches nice and even until there's nothing but one hole left. This is when you fill with your stuffing. It's good to use scraps if you can for the environment. This is a polyfill. Push it into all of your appendages and use enough to make it as plump as you like, but not overly plump. Then you can either get a new thread or continue with your old one to finish closing your stuffed animal. The longest part of sewing anything is usually cutting it out. So even if you have a lot of sewing to do, don't get too worried about how much time it will take. Take your time, make your sewing nice and strong and even, and you will be really happy with your outcome. Remember, anytime you're ending a string, you need to secure it. So you'll make a loop going under another stitch, and then you'll go through that loop with the string. Good luck.